Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I think you're going to like this video, so hit the thumbs up right now. It massively helps with the algorithm on the channel. And if you're busy hitting the like button and you're yet to subscribe, please also subscribe. We're getting very close, tantalisingly close to 16,000. That'd be nice to hit that today. Now, Humza Yousaf has brought in a hate crime law that he said was necessary because of the rising tide of intolerance, of bigotry and of hate in Scotland. Now, they also say that truth will out, and in this case it most certainly has, because his claims can now be shown to be complete and utter rubbish. Hate crime in Scotland was actually falling before this law came in. People were becoming more tolerant, not less. They were becoming more accepting, not less. Hate was reducing, not increasing. And yet he brought this law in. And it goes to prove that this law was not brought in for hate. And it was brought in for one reason and one reason only. The guys down the mosque bounced him into it so that he could squeeze in, under the radar, his little blasphemy against Islam. And that should be rejected. This is a free and open society where criticism of thoughts, ideas and religion must be permitted. Indeed, it is human nature. Had we not questioned things, we would still be living in caves. And that is the reason why this hate crime bill must be rejected and repealed. Now we have the statistical evidence that the crime is not even a thing, that the law did not need to exist, and that Humza Yousaf is a lying, two-faced twonk. Let's go. So, hate crimes reduced in Scotland last year as Humza Yousaf's rising tide of hatred claim has been dismissed as a pack of lies. Of course he lies. Of course he lies. He lies twice, doesn't he? He has to. Religion forces him to lie and politics forces him to lie. Lies, lies, lies. Humza Yousaf, the man who would never know a truth if it slapped him on the arse with a banjo. New statistics published by the Scottish Government showed that hate crimes last year fell to their lowest level in almost 10 years, highlighting whether the country needed stricter new laws introduced by the former loser and First Minister. No, they absolutely didn't. Of course, it was nothing to do with hate. It had to be shrouded, had to be hidden, had to be put away, covered, so that nobody could see exactly what he was bringing in. The Scottish Government has come under increased pressure to repeal its controversial hate crime legislation after new figures reveal that the number of hate crimes recorded last year was the lowest number in almost 10 years. It sheds doubt on Humza's claim that new law was to guard people from a rising tide of hatred. It was not. It was to guard people like him from a rising tide of anti-Islamic loathing, because more and more people see what that particular philosophy was. They don't like young girls being abused. They don't like totalitarianism. They don't like the idea of being forced into things they don't want to do and bounced into changing their belief system or their behaviours simply because it might upset someone else who's chosen to go another way. If you don't want to do something because of your religion, that's fine. But telling me I can't do it because of your religion is not fine. We previously told how almost half of all Scots oppose the new law due to fear it damages free speech north of the border. And since it was brought in, Police Scotland have been inundated with reports of alleged criminality due to the law being extended to include more protected characteristics and new stirring up hatred offence created, which doesn't actually exist. No one has defined in law what hatred is, and until that's defined, you can't have a law against it, can you? Also, the fact that there is no free judiciary in Scotland and therefore there is no legitimate court system. In fact, there were more reports in the first week legislation was active than there were recorded hate crimes in the entirety of 22-23 financial year. Cops recorded 6,257 hate crimes during this period, which is 10% or 670 lower than the 21-22 number and the lowest number since 2014-15, and that would only be high because of the referendum and the hate involved around that. Meanwhile, overworked officers were forced to deal with more than 7,000 online reports of hate crimes between April the 1st and 7th, and the vast majority of these being anonymous. Only 240 crimes and 30 non-crime hate incidents were recorded during this 7-day period. The 30 non-crime hate incidents, if they were recorded at all, were recorded illegally, as has been shown by the Supreme Court ruling on the European Court of Human Rights. It is not permissible under international human rights law. So if they've been doing it, then the police themselves are breaking the law. There needs to be a prosecution. Statistics published by the Scottish Government on Tuesday showed the decrease in hate crimes in Scotland last year. But statisticians claimed there was no clear trend, as 4 of the years following 2014-15 showed an increase and the other 4 showed a decrease. But the point is, lowest ever for 10 years since the referendum year. So it would have been lower before that. So yeah, I foresee issues. It's a law that needs to be repealed. It should never have been created. There is no need for it. Already there was laws on the books that dealt with it. And what this is just a way for Humza to bring in the anti-Islamic blasphemy law. That definitely needs to go. We must have the right to criticise religion. If not, you may as well all put yourselves under the cudgel now. Religion is wrong. You can choose to have it. That's fine. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any powerful God. But I am fearful of those who do, because those who do believe in God tend to commit the worst atrocities. In terms of council areas, the number of recorded hate crimes per 10,000 population was the highest in Glasgow and Edinburgh, go figure, with 25 and 18 respectively, with Orkney and the Shetland Isles having the lowest rates. Well, that doesn't surprise me either. The former First Minister spearheaded the legislation through the Scottish Parliament as Justice Secretary was forced to defend it from criticism. Well, how can you defend a law that isn't needed and that was brought in simply to defend Islam? Because apparently Islam is so weak that it needs defending in law by the likes of Humza Yousaf. Please. Top Cops claimed it would also force officers away from fighting real crime. We've dealt with that 100 times. Most definitely it will. He says, as his Humza says, he's very proud of the Hate Crime Act, the Islamic Blasphemy Act. We have seen, I'm afraid, not just in the UK, of course, of Scotland, but right across many parts of the world, is a kind of rising tide of hatred against people because of their protected characteristics. Let me rephrase that to what it actually means. What I've said is a rising tide of hatred against Islam. That's it. That's all he's considered about. He doesn't give a shit about whether you call some person who's gay a name, some lesbian a name, some Chinese person call him by some racial epithet. Doesn't give a shit about that. He's had his orders from the guys down the mosque and he's complied. And screw the Scottish people. Coming up. He tried to dress it up. He tried to bury it deep in the paperwork. And he tried to assume that the people of Scotland were too stupid to see what was there. But people aren't stupid. No one is as stupid as he thinks they are. And we saw through it almost day one. And we knew that there was no hate. And now we have the statistics to prove it. This rising tide of which he speaks does not exist. Not against general hate. All this is, he's scared that people are rejecting his gang. And his gang's weird beliefs. Thank you very much for listening. Do please hit the subscribe button. It really would help now. Close to 16,000. Definitely hit the like. And I will speak to you later. Bye.